Previously on AMC's
FUgameCrue. Hold on, I'll call you back. What the heck is going on over here? No, dummy! It's not the flashback anymore. Stop! Stop! Welcome back to part 2 of our Earthbound, Mother series review. And I guess I should wear this since I have it. I mean, the other shirt was dirty anyway. But let's continue. Hopefully nothing weird happens today like it did last time. I don't know what happened, I don't know why it happened, but it's all done. I'll figure it out later. We need to finish this particular series. Holy smokes! Did you hear that? That sounded like a meteorite crash. Let's go check it out. You coming, Shane?
Now that I got done changing, yes. Wow. It sure is spooky here. Maybe we'll see an alien.
Well, that sure'd be cool. If we do, then they could answer some of our biggest mysteries, like who really built those pyramids.
Or who was the first human being to get a full fist up their ass. Someone did it. Somebody was first.
But most importantly, they could solve the mystery on why my dad is still sexting me.
Well, where do we even begin to look? Oh, Cameron! Cameron, they're taking me away! Oh, it's a clean cut on the top half of my body is coming!
Well, I better get out of here!
Oh, don't leave me, no! At least take my legs!
Wow. I cannot believe that just happened. That was insane. Shane just got abducted. I know he would have wanted me to escape though, so rest in peace, Shane. We hardly knew ye. Isn't it weird though that I keep experiencing the starts of Mother games? I guess you could say I'm experiencing Earthbound beginnings. Well, enough malarkey. Let's jump right into Earthbound for the Super Nintendo in honor of Shane, because I know he would have wanted the show to go on. Earthbound, or Mother 2, is the only physical release in the series that made its way outside of Japan. And if you lived in North America, it came in an unnecessarily large box with a player's guide. You know, I'm surprised this game didn't sell better than it did, actually. I mean, if I was shopping at Caldor's and I saw this in a game case, I would have definitely been intrigued. Sadly, I don't remember it at all, though. It wasn't until over a decade later that I was even aware of this game's existence, but sometimes what's great in the past isn't very good when you don't have nostalgia attached to it. Earthbound Beginnings, for instance, had a lot of problems that were common for RPGs of its time, but with the Super Nintendo having some of the best RPGs of all time, let's see if the second try for the series steps it up a bit. Mother 2 starts off similarly to the first game, being in a creepy situation that once again draws me completely into the game and making me want more. I wish more games out there would take this kind of approach. Sometimes it takes over an hour for story-driven games to really get interesting. I like being hooked right off the bat, and so far, the Earthbound series does an amazing job 2 games in a row. This image in the startup screen creeped me out when I saw it, even as an adult. More so than Earthbound Beginnings, the game maintains its unnerving feel that meshes so perfectly with its unique brand of humor from beginning to end. The story follows Ness as he investigates a meteorite crash with the help of a bee from the future, his dog, and his fat neighbor Pokey. They find out that Gigas was behind this and has developed the world in hatred, turning humans, animals, and pretty much everything evil. To stop this, he has to collect melodies much like the first game, and he does so with the help of a fellow psychic named Paula, a bedwetting inventor named Jeff, and a martial artist named On your adventure, you get into a lot of different interesting situations involving plenty of memorable characters, most of which are weird, funny, and more often than not, both. But much like any other RPG of its era, you have to do more grinding than the Tony Hawk series.
You already said that joke, man.
Grinding in this game bothers me even less so than in the first game, since battling is a huge improvement this time around. Instead of random encounters, you actually see the enemies on the screen. If you don't feel like fighting, it's possible to avoid combat altogether, and if you're at a high enough level, then enemies will try to avoid you and die instantly if you even touch them, saving you plenty of time from unnecessary battles with weak enemies and making traveling to older areas a little bit easier and quicker. Plus, the battle backgrounds are much cooler this time with some psychedelic trippy shit going on. And if you're dealt a fatal blow, you still have time to win the battle or heal yourself before your health runs out on the rolling counter. It's not only interesting since I've never seen it in any other game before, but cool because it makes you think fast in sticky situations and can help you get out of some jams. Like the first game, some people might not like the lack of battle animations, but like I said in the last video, I don't mind using my imagination, and it's more fun to do now since the attacks are given humorous descriptions. Some of the sillier enemy attacks add even more charm to a series already loaded with it. And as if the wacky enemies and attacks weren't enough, this guy randomly comes down to take pictures of you and your adventure from time to time to show you in the end of the game. Managing your items still kinda sucks, and it's actually worse than the last game since you have to use spaces in your inventory for equipped items. You can call your sister and store some of your trash with her, but it gets to be a pain in the ass. At least it's fun when the delivery man shows up though. The upside for having no room to carry items is that you can't hoard shit around and you're encouraged to just use items if you need them instead of finishing the game with plenty left over. At least the L button's good for taking action and talking instead of having to open a menu every time you want to do something, which is still an option for some reason. Even if you spend a lot of time grinding, the game can still be a bit challenging since this isn't the kind of RPG where you simply win battles and move on. I can, however, happily say that this isn't one of those vague and cryptic games that are next to impossible to finish without looking them up online. If I was able to beat the game without checking the internet, then so can you. Just like Earthbound Beginnings, there's a fair deal of censorship here, which was to be expected from Nintendo in the mid-90s, but it's still worth mentioning since it is a bit of a negative. It's complete bullshit that we can't see Ness's cock in Magicent, but I digress. At least Japanese audiences got to see the pee-pee from one of Nintendo's mascots. You can get physical reproduction cartridges of the uncensored game with the same English translations that would actually be cheaper than buying an authentic copy of the original game. Or you could just download a ROM if you don't care to own physical copies. Like Earthbound Beginnings, I downloaded this from the eShop despite owning a physical copy because I like to support official releases of things I enjoy, especially if they need it. And the Mother series definitely needs it with the original sales being so poor. But unlike Earthbound Beginnings, I'll definitely play this game again in the future. It's a huge improvement over the original in every way with superior graphics, story, sound, characters, humor, and most importantly, gameplay. I wouldn't say it's the greatest RPG ever made, especially if you're looking for something more serious or epic. And honestly, it might be slightly overrated, but if you're looking for something different, especially with RPGs, then I definitely recommend checking this out. Earthbound for the Super Nintendo gets a 13.8 out of 15. It's higher than a 9.
What do you think, though? Is Earthbound a little overrated, or is it as good as its cult following says it is? Let me know in the comments below. I've got to go get Shane's legs. I'll be back next time with Mother 3, but I'm still playing it, so hold on.
So I want to say thank you to your loyalty. Thank you for your support.